Hey guys, how's it going? ItZMuRdA here. Wanted to talk a little bit about the World Domination series again as week one comes to an end and week two begins today. And just kind of, my thoughts so far, maybe get you guys' thoughts so far. I know the devs have been talking about it on Friday Night Ops as well as the other Ops nights that they do on the PlanetSide 2 stream Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And, kind of trying to see if we can figure anything out to break the trend that we've seen so far. Um, so as you probably know, TR have been consistently in the lead, and they have won week one. So anybody who logged in TR at any point during the past week, you should be getting a 3-day EXP boost. I logged into my TR character this morning. I didn't see it yet. Malorn mentioned for the preseason that you'd be able to give your reward to any character, so I imagine we might be instead just receiving either a code or more likely the boost on our account where you log in and your notifications window pops up and you can claim that boost on whichever character you want. So that's something to keep in mind if you don't regularly play TR and you want to have the boost on another character. It might be worth participating on TR in some capacity. I recommend you don't make the population issue even worse by joining the TR Fourth Empire for the event. But if you do want the boost on one of your other characters, it might be worth logging in even for just a couple of minutes every week on TR to see about getting it. But as far as I know, the boosts haven't gone out yet. The site still is showing the totals as the this week section, so I imagine it hasn't rolled over to week two officially yet, even though I believe the scoring rolled over at midnight last night. So we'll probably see that happen in the next, I don't know, a couple hours, sometime today, sometime tonight, where it'll actually shift on the scoring website into week two. I guess the other stuff to talk about, like I said, TR has been dominating all throughout. They've had like a 38 to 41% lead, essentially. I guess it's not a lead, but you know what I'm saying. That's how much they've had of the pie. Pretty much the entire time since day one, they've had a significant lead. NC and VS have bounced back and forth around the same 30% or so. And as I originally predicted, when we saw the scores on day one, and when you see the numbers so extreme in some cases on certain servers, I thought TR was going to just continue that sort of dominance. I didn't think that there was anything in the existing state of affairs, essentially, that would have changed the tide, essentially, with how much of a lead they had. So, I mean, it wasn't really rocket science to figure that out, but as I thought, 7, 8 days on now, they've pretty much had the exact same lead on the NC and the VS, and that's been continuing largely because of their dominance on servers like Briggs and Watterson to an extent, Woodman to an extent, Miller definitely another large one, I think second largest after Briggs. But on some of the other servers, I don't know if it was Ceres or Cobalt, one of these, I don't have the numbers right off the top of my head. I believe they actually had population dominance, but they weren't really winning the alert. Maybe it was Ceres, or rather the event. So there's a lot of variables that make you wonder what is actually causing this, what can we do to fix it, things like that. And I wanted to just put some of my thoughts out there and gather your thoughts as well. Is it population balanced and nothing else? Is that the end all be all? I don't really know that that's true. In certain cases, I definitely think that it is population impacting the results. But in other cases, if you look, dig a little bit deeper into some of these servers and how the scores look, it's definitely not just population alone. There are cases where the underpopped faction is doing better than a faction with more population. The other big one is the northern warp gate on Indar, especially. TR owns that at the moment in the current warp gate rotation, and that makes a pretty big difference if you're familiar with fights on Indar. The empire that has the northern warp gate usually owns the majority of the continent, just because the fighting tends to meet somewhere down in the middle between the three warp gates in that area of Alatum and the Crown and things around it, Tarich, Zervan, Rashnu, Havar, Paris, and so forth. Doesn't usually get too far up by Mao or Dahaka or anything like that. Even the impact site, fighting's usually all south of that. So the northern warp gate often owns like almost half of the territory on the continent, and that's just by design. I doubt it's intended, but that is the design of the continent at the moment. But I think that that plays actually a bigger role than the population personally. And they did say that they were going to do something. We're not sure exactly if it's just going to be warp gate rotations, like a third of the way through the series warp gate rotation, and then 2/3 of the way through the series another warp gate rotation. I would think that that would make the most sense, but I'm not sure if that's what's going to happen. But they should be doing something to alleviate that. So I would think that that's probably the biggest thing that could change the tide of TR just continuing this roughly 40% dominance, is when you see that sort of a change. I don't know if the losing factions essentially will be so demoralized by then or not. It's totally possible. A lot of situations where you have like an attack and a defend, or some sort of rounds, something where one team dominates the first round or the first couple of rounds. The morale of the losing teams isn't necessarily there in the future. Given that this is on such a massive scale, that might not really have that big of an impact. I'm not really sure, but I think that that's one of the things that we will be looking forward to, seeing how the warp gate rotation or whatever it is that they do changes things up. I mean, if there's not any significant changes like the warp gate rotation or anything like that, I imagine that this trend would just continue for the next 27.5 days. You're going to see TR just continuing to win at the same rate that they do, 38 to 41 or so percent, and that's pretty boring for everybody, even TR. If they just clean sweep the whole event, just because nothing really changed. Now it is the preseason. It is a lot of testing. There's not like major rewards up for grabs. Just an Empire specific decal and title, which are cool, and some boosts which you can seemingly give to any of your characters anyway. So they're testing the waters with it before they get into some more serious rewards and things like that. I'm sure there will be adjustments when the actual series begins to pan out, instead of just the preseason. So don't freak out just yet. I think they're getting a lot of good feedback out of this, and things like that. Like I said, I know that they've been trying to figure it out, they being the devs. Malorn spoke about it on FNO for a bit. What do you guys think? What's causing this trend? Do you have any suggestions for fixes? I mean, try to avoid simply just complaining about population or anything like that. Actually try to come up with constructive feedback, detailing potential fixes for the problems. I'm sure the devs would love to hear them, so feel free to leave your suggestions in the comments, or you can even tweet me on Twitter at ItZMuRdA. I will retweet your suggestions there as well. Try to get the word out and see what we can come up with for making this event a little bit more compelling, a little bit more interesting, and even if not for the preseason, just for when the actual World Domination Series gets underway, something that we can all have a little bit more fun with, rather than it just feeling like we're playing the game and not a whole lot's going on, and these points are just being tallied up, largely affected by things that we as individual players or outfits don't have a lot of control over. So let me know what you guys think. That's really all I wanted to talk about for today. Hop in, get your boosts whenever we have access to them, hopefully here in the next 24 hours or something like that. And let me know what you guys think. Hopefully we'll get this all sorted out. I'm sure the devs are hard at work with it as well, so that it's not just essentially a boring population victory or something like that. So I think it'll be good, and I think they're on the right track. And while so far it's been kind of meh, I think that they're getting some good feedback and learning some stuff. And it's really, like I said, just essentially testing the waters. So don't get too upset just yet. Don't go running to the Reddits and the forums screaming about population imbalance. I think that this is what we need to identify the problems, and then hopefully we can fix them and all be enjoying ourselves in the very near future. So you guys have a good one. Make sure to head on over to the stream. Hit that follow button if you don't already. ItZMuRdA.com or twitch.tv/ItZMuRdA_TV, where I stream PlanetSide 2 pretty much every day, as much as I possibly humanly can. So you guys have a good one. Let me know what you think about the WDS, and I will see you in game.